Weird science
is the revolution.
Hello all you weirdos out there. My name is Zach, and once again I am doing a solo review. Today I will be reviewing Alien number 2. Alien number 2 is written by Declan Shalvey with the present day artwork by Andrea Briccardo and Ruth Redmond on colors. The flashback artwork is by Declan Shalvey, who does both the art and the colors. The letterer is VC's Clayton Coles. And when we last left off, Zasha Zahn, she had returned to LV-695 to recover the synth Dayton. Dayton had sacrificed himself 13 years ago to save her during the events of Alien Thaw. To accomplish this, Zasha has created the fake identity Cole in order to gain employment with the Weyland-Yutani Corporation. They are sending a crew out to LV-695 to salvage the UCSS Borea, which is the ship that sunk in the prior series. So we pick up and we see Jun Yutani and his crew salvaging the UCSS Borea, and while they're doing that, they discover that Cole has disappeared, and upon pulling up her ship's GPS, they find out that she has wandered off somewhere, and Jun Yutani wants to know why. So he takes him and his bodyguards and his personal ship, and they go to investigate what she is up to. Which I really like that. It really shows how competent Jun Yutani is despite his young age. He's a really young, he's like 20-ish in this, maybe a little bit younger. I don't know, it's kind of ambiguous. But yeah, he's immediately like, oh, this person's doing something they're not supposed to. Let's go find out why. Like, yes, that's what a competent villain would do. Hey, somebody's wasting our resources. I want to know why. I'm really glad that they are showing that he is competent despite his young age. Anyway, so they go off to investigate, and we jump to Zasha, who is now flying to the former outpost she lived at called the Keg. And while she's going there, she has this really boring inner narration where, you know, she's trying to get all fancy, all poetic. You know, she's very much like oh, everything was taken from me, I have nothing left to give, all because of this dang planet and everything it took from me. And it's just, it's a little eye-rolling because it's trying to be angsty, but it sounds like one of the kids from South Park, you know, the emo kids. It's just, you know, like one of the lines is literally, I never got to bury them. My past flows through the air here. I've waited a long time to breathe deep. Like, what? Like, what do you mean by that? Why do you want to breathe deep all this stuff? Like, what? I never got to bury them. My past floats through here on the air. You want to breathe your past? Like, I mean, I get it's trying to be poetic, but it's also like, you know, this is where your whole family died, too. You really want to be breathing that in? Like, I don't know. It's trying to be very moody and angsty, but it's a little ridiculous, to be honest. It took me out of the moment when I read that. I was just like, what are we trying to do here? But anyway, that's just a nitpick, though. So, moving on, we then see what happened to the crew that Zasha had ditched on the UCSS Borea. They are now cocooned, and one of them ends up falling victim to one of the chestbursters. They're in the egg-laying room on the Borea, and yeah, one of them bites the dust. And that's all we really see of them, just like, oh, hey, this is what's happening to them. This is how we're going to get more xenomorphs. Yeah, so it's kind of cool, but I mean, we don't really need it. It feels like it's adding to the page count, you know, like I don't want to say it's filler, but it's like, this is to waste some page space in here. But yeah, so we immediately then flash back to that side plot that we had seen in the first issue with the other planet, the mining planet, with the foreman and the synths. Yeah, so we see that the foreman, you know, he was impregnated, and now he has been taken to the doctors on that planet, and the synths are trying to save him. They're trying to surgically remove the organism, but the chestburster just decides to burst. It kills him. The synths do manage to capture the chestburster, and they decide to keep it for research purposes. So we then flash back to the Zasha. Sorry, this book jumps around a lot. That's one of my nitpicks. This book jumps like 8 times between the 4 different plots, so it gets very jarring. But we go back to Zasha, and she's inside the ship now, and she's trying to look for Dayton. And while she searches, she does find the charred remains of her mother and the stillborn sibling from the first series. Now, I really like this. I like that she sees their charred remains, but then she's like, hey mom, I miss you. And then she walks away. She don't try to gather the remains or recover them. Like, look, I know you're here to recover Dayton, you know, the one who saved you, the synth. But like, wouldn't you want to save your family's remains too? And Dayton's part of your family, so why wouldn't you want to rescue your biological mother and your biological brother? Like, to me, I don't know. Like, to me, it should have been, oh, let me gather y'all, take y'all back to the ship, then I'll go back and try and get Dayton. Because obviously you'd want to give your family a proper burial. You'd want them to, you know, be finally at peace, not left here on this planet where they are just left to rot, where all the xenomorphs had taken everything from you. Surely you'd want them back and take them back home. But she doesn't. I don't know. It's really weird. It feels like it's going to be something later on, like some MacGuffin. I know there had been some rumors that, the stillborn's still alive, but nah, it's a charred remain here. I very highly doubt it'll come back, but we'll see. Maybe. So she sees them, and then she moves on, and as she's walking, she's using one of those motion sensors from, Aliens, which is kind of cool, but this is like the Weyland-Yutani version, so it's a little different, but, so she's going through, then she sees, oh crap, aliens are coming, and she gets ambushed. And so we then go from there, and we jump to a random scene where these guys who are in some Weyland-Yutani ships are trying to reach the command center, and apparently the command center is not answering, and we just see this one panel where it's like, oh, hey, the command center where all these researchers were, yeah, it was overrun, the Xenomorphs killed them all. We don't even see it, we just see the bloodbath left behind by it, which, it's kind of cool. It implies worse things, but I would really like to see that carnage, because in this issue, the only real action you get is Zasha shooting at the Xenomorphs, and she has a 95% success rate. You don't see the aliens actually really kill anybody. You see a chestburster kill somebody, but not the aliens, and it's just, we didn't need that page earlier with the cocooned crew on the Borea. We could have used that scene to show the carnage from the command center. And before anybody asked, Jun Yutani was not at the command center, because remember, he went after Zasha. So yeah, so, it's kind of cool. It shows that things are happening behind the scenes, that, yes, this planet is overrun with Xenomorphs. So, it's kind of cool, but I really would have liked to see the actual carnage and the actual, bloodbath. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a bloodthirsty guy. I don't know. But, yeah, so it's kind of just a random scene, but it adds a little to the story, so I don't mind it. Yeah, so we then jump back to another scene. Like I said, guys, we jump back and forth a lot. So, we jump from that scene, and we go back to Zasha, who manages to kill those aliens who ambushed her. But even though she killed them, now the gunshots has alerted all the other nearby aliens. So now they're going after her. And then we jump again. Again, guys, we jump to the flashback, and we now see that chestburster from the foreman or whatever is now a fully grown alien under the research of those synths. And one of the synthetics, he's starting to get a little obsessed with it. He's starting to be like, oh, you are a magnificent specimen. He's getting all weird about it. So, thankfully, the synth in charge grows wise to this and be like, it's probably illogical to let the synth who's obsessed with this alien continue to research it. But he's like, why don't we just eliminate the creature? We've gotten all the data we can from it. There's no use leaving it alive. Which, yes, synthetic. You are smart. You are brilliant. You should be the one in charge. I am very happy about this. He goes to try and kill the Xenomorph. The Xenomorph escapes and kills them. Presumably, we don't get to see it. We just see it burst out of the glass. And that's it. And that's how the flashback ends. So we then go back to Zasha. And she has killed all the aliens that have been coming after her. She's running. She's trying desperately to find Dayton. And then she lowers her guard just for a second. And boom, a Xenomorph appears right above her. And it's about to get the jump on her. Thankfully, something shoots it. And that's right. I did say something. Because that something is Dayton. He's still alive. How? I don't know. I don't know. He's half a synthetic here. He does not have his legs or anything below the torso. His organs, in quotation marks, are literally just hanging out. He has fluid leaking everywhere. He is really messed up, and yet somehow 13 years later, he is still alive. Now, I know that we have seen in the Alien franchise before, synthetics survive. Some of them have survived as just heads. Some of them are killed instantly just by getting hit in the head. It is very weird. It's something very ambiguous. So, I want to hate this, but at the same time, I like Dayton as a character. Dayton's one of my favorite characters from the first series. Well, scratch that, he is my favorite character from the first series. So I don't hate it, but it's also like, that's a little fudge. That's a little fudge. It's kind of a cool reveal. I think some people's mileage may vary, but, I don't know. I think it's a little cliche as well, but, like I said, it's my favorite character. I'm going to let it slide this one time. It does bother me just a little. Because my first thought was like, how the heck are you still alive? There is no way you're still alive after 13 years. But, I don't know, man. They're built Ford tough. I don't know. So yeah. And that's how the issue ends. So Dayton's alive. Jun Yutani's on his way to confront Zasha. The Weyland-Yutani crew absolutely got murdered. And for some reason, we're still having this flashback that doesn't seemingly connect to this main story. Now, my theory is just that it's going to be, these are the Xenomorphs that took over that ship from the Annual that ends up crash landing on this planet. I think that's how it's going to tie in. That's the only thing I could think of. I don't know how else it could be. So, hopefully that's it. Overall, I still like this issue. I definitely had a few nitpicks. But yeah, I still think this is better than his first series, Declan Shalvey's, that is, Alien Thaw. I think this series is better. If I had to give it a rating, I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10. The artwork is good. There are some really cool things in here that I do like. I like seeing Jun Yutani be a competent antagonist. I do like Zasha as a protagonist now. I didn't really like her as much during the first series. I'm starting to really like her here because it shows how dedicated she is to, like, hey, Dayton saved me. I need to save him. Even though she doesn't know he's alive. That gets a little wonky, a little fudged again. Now, I think she's fully going there thinking that he's dead. Just like, I want to just gather his remains, give him a proper burial. But I mean, like, if you were going to do that, why didn't you grab your family as well? You know? She never implied she was ever going to pick up her family's remains too. She saw them, was like, hey, Michelle, moving on. Like, what? That's one of the negatives of this book. I really thought that was a little bit stupid. It felt like it was just there to be like, oh, hey, remember this? Wasn't that screwed up? This really messed with her, didn't it? And it's just like, come on. Show her trying to take the remains back to the ship, you know? Show her trying to rescue her whole family. I say rescue, recover her whole family. So, but I still like the idea of her going back to save Dayton. The Xenomorphs, I think they're a little nerfed here, because, you know, a lot of them, I mean, now, yes, we do see, like, oh, it's implied they are capable of a bloodbath because of all the Weyland-Yutani crew getting wiped out. But then we just see Zasha wiping them out like nothing. Like, she kills, like, 8 aliens in this issue. And, like, here's the thing. I'll give her some credit. She is aware of the aliens. She has prior experience. She has studied up on them. And she does have the appropriate firepower. She has weapons. I can let it slide a little. But still, like, that's... I don't know. She was very easily taking them out. And here's the thing. She was easily taking them out, but the very first 2 aliens she came across, she missed them. The only reason she killed them, she was shooting at them. I guess they dodged, or she was just a terrible shot. One of the two. But she managed to hit the roof or the ceiling above them, and all the pipes and stuff came down right on top of them. And yeah, that's how she managed to get away from the aliens at first. And then she started being like, okay, headshot, kill. And it's just like, I don't know, maybe she just got spooked that first time, and that's why she was such a terrible shot. But I don't know. But I mean, I don't know. I'm really conflicted on that. The Xenomorphs do see a little nerfed here, at least when it comes to Zasha. Every time else, they're really cool, they're really tough, but when it comes to Zasha, I don't know. Zasha is a total badass, you know? So yeah, I don't know. One of the other negatives I do have, we do not see the submorphs at all, you know, the new white Xenomorphs. We don't see them once in this, which is a little odd. I mean, now, I'm not going to complain too much, because I'm not going to say I love the concept of the submorphs, but that's supposed to be the, like, big thing about this series. It's supposed to be the submorphs versus the xenomorphs, so I would expect, you know, 2 issues in, you'd want to keep continuing that. I'm pretty sure this is a 4-issue series from what I heard. You're halfway through the book, and literally, they've only been in it half the time. So, I don't know, hopefully next issue they'll be in it more. I'm sure they will. They're going to have to be, but it just felt very weird they weren't in this issue. So, yeah, we don't really get any progression there. Like I said, the flashback's not exactly clear why it's still here. My only theory is that it's going to be the ship that the Xenomorphs came in on to crash land on LV-695. That's the only logical conclusion I can come to. So yeah, that's about it. Like I said, 7 out of 10. I think that's a pretty good mark for this issue. I think it's still one of the better things that Declan Shalvey has done under the Alien. So I'm just happy that it's getting a little bit better. It's not a book I'd still like highly recommend, but it's still, you know, if you like aliens, check it out. Yeah, that's about it. Thanks for listening, guys, and happy holidays to y'all. I'll talk to y'all later.
Hey, all you weirdos, if you like comic book shows, podcasts, videos, please check the description of this video where you can see links to all of our podcast shows, websites, all of that. And if you want to help us out for everything that we do, you can click on that Patreon link in the upper left-hand corner and check out our Patreon, where you can go right now and get a 7-day free trial to see all the stuff that we do, shows that are Marvel, DC, indie, manga, and even more. So check all that out, and I'll talk to you all later.
Weird science
is the revolution.